This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.
Welcome back to the latest episode of the Bullscast with me, George Holloway. In this edition of the pod, we take a look back at a busy week for Hereford as they secured their first 3 points of the season at Buxton, a change in formation from Paul Caddis that paid dividends, and we preview the upcoming bank holiday weekend that sees the Bulls play Chorley and Radcliffe. Joining me is Radio Hereford FC commentator Keith Hall and chief sub-editor of 442 magazine, Gregg Davies. Gents, good to see you. Unfortunately, we have to start with the 2-0 home defeat to Kings Lynn last Saturday. And I think we all agree, Keith, that it was a little way off the performance we've come to expect from Hereford over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'd just describe it as a no-show. Just didn't turn up on the day. And such an early goal as a setback. And from there on in, Kings Lynn just controlled the game. And it was interesting to see their result at Spennymoor last night, as when we're recording this, puts that into a little bit of context.
Greg, what did you make of the performance?
It was, probably one of the sort of worst home performances I can remember in a long time, just in terms of lack of effervescence, wasn't it? There was just no, normally, we've failed to win at home many a time, but there's normally some sort of up and at 'em at least in the last 10 minutes or something, try and get a goal back, get an equaliser, but we had a couple of chances in each half, but it just felt such a flat performance and atmosphere around the ground.
Ross Crane's first half brace, of course, did the damage for Kings Lynn, and that earned him a place in the National League North Team of the Weekend. He received plenty of praise from boss James Rowe after the match for his work rate off the ball. And Hereford struggled to deal with him, Greg, when he picked up those pockets between defence and midfield.
He obviously had far too much space very early on. The first, 4.5 minutes? The second goal was kind of a rebound, wasn't it, after Paul Johnson shot it at the inside of the crossbar. But, him and Clunan especially, pulled all the strings as he normally does. He just has that freedom to just float around the centre of the pitch and pick up loose balls, pick up second balls, and we just couldn't lay a glove on them, could we?
The scoreline could have been even better for Kings Lynn if summer signing Michael Giassi had converted those 2 chances that he had as well. A game best left in the past, I think we can all agree. Fast forward to Tuesday night then, and Hereford would pick up their first 3 points of the new season thanks to a late first half brace from Remaye Campbell that secured the Bulls a 2-1 win at Buxton. Paul Caddis opted for a change in formation and a change in personnel from the Kings Lynn game, 4 in total. In came Lewis Hudson, Ilani Edwards, Andy Williams and Mitch Roberts, who lined up as part of a back 3 with Matt Preston and Keenan Kwanzaa, and it certainly had the desired effect, Keith.
Yeah, I think his roles and responsibilities were there, and it was good to see Lewis Hudson back with the captain's armband, because he certainly sort of pepped everybody up and made sure that they're on their game right from the kick-off, really. A lot more aggression, tenacity, all the sorts of things that you want to see. The shape to the team as well. There weren't any players that were underperforming. They were all 7s or 8s or something like that. And with Andy Williams giving Remaye Campbell a little bit of support, that helped Remaye's game because he wasn't constantly being hit by, say, 2 central defenders. They had to concern themselves with Andy Williams, who knows where to be, even if he can't get there at 100% of the speed of which he used to. He's still got the speed of thought. He knows where to be and what to try and do, and it worked very well.
In many respects, Keith, was it everything that the Kings Lynn performance wasn't?
Yeah, pretty much. Everything that you needed to happen did happen. Campbell was on the case straight away, and his quick thought actually for both goals. People say he's not a natural goal scorer, etc., etc. There was a split second when I thought the referee was going to give a penalty, and he continued to play the ball and knocked it straight in the corner. You'll see that on the highlights. And the second one was from a Sterling James corner, a stooping header at the near post. And that took me completely by surprise, as well it did the Buxton defence. Overall, a very impressive performance. Ilani Edwards showed up really well as a youngster with his first start, took the ball box to box, wouldn't get shaken off. We didn't see Tate Campbell at all. It was really, really no show from him. And Sammy Robinson, unusually they played him at right back. That's obviously what they got intentions for him there. He wasn't as such a force as he can be if he plays centre midfield. So the Hereford supporters obviously were trying to wind up both Campbell and Robinson. But Robinson stuck to his task well. But Ilani Edwards, one particular move, they were locked together for about 35-40 yards. Neither of them would give up the chance to get on the ball, and it was something to behold. It was very good to watch.
Really well taken double as well, as you mentioned, Keith, from Remaye Campbell. And we both saw on Saturday, Greg, Remaye Campbell did look very isolated at times, particularly when Theo Richardson or one of the back line was knocking it up to him. How much do you think it helped to have Andy Williams alongside him in that 3-5-2 formation?
Yeah, I think, just having that extra body alongside him, especially with someone like Willow's experience, they can just feed off each other, can't they? We saw on Saturday how much Rem struggled. It's so easy to defend against, isn't it? You just have one centre-back with his arms all over him because the referees won't give a foul. And then somebody else can just sit in front and pick up the knockdowns for anything that Rem does actually win. So, yeah, we're always going to prosper more with another man upside him that can take a bit of pressure off one of the other centre-backs.
Caddis referenced in his post-match interview that he changed formation and personnel in part to try and match Buxton's energy. Aaron Skinner, Matt Richards and Ilani Edwards, who was making his senior debut, lined up in the centre. And Keith, those three managed to do just that.
Yeah, the important thing was to stop Luke Brennan in the second half because he was the one main player for Buxton that was, working quite well down the left flank. And I think Amari Sterling-James and Aaron Skinner, between them, kept him quiet, just apart from one real jinking run in that second 45. But yeah, very, very good from Aaron Skinner. We know he's a wholehearted player, always give everything he's got. And as you say, energy, effervescence that Greg mentioned earlier on, that sadly lacking on Saturday, was there for all to see on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you mentioned Luke Brennan. He was probably Buxton's most threatening player throughout the evening, and he had a good battle with Amari Sterling-James.
Yeah, as I say, I think Sterling-James had more of a view to attack in the first half, and that kept a little bit space behind him, which Brennan was going into. So there must have been a little tweak at half-time to say to Amari, you've got to slightly rein it in as far as your attacking intent is concerned, but make sure you close space down. And they did, I'd say, him alongside Skinner on that side of the field. I thought they did really well.
Ty Sojay headed in Ryan McLean's cross on 92 minutes, but it turned out to be too little, too late for the Bucks. Our new colleague, Aaron Viles, made an interesting point about the potential pitfalls of playing five across the midfield, namely the discipline and work rate that is required from the two wing-backs in order for it to be effective. Do you see Greg Hereford employing a 3-5-2 on a more regular basis throughout the season?
I mean, we've got the wing-backs for it. Undoubtedly, like Aaron Skinner, Lewis Hudson are, naturally suited to getting up and down the flanks. Mitchell Roberts sort of is probably a bit more defensive-minded. But I think, Ilani Edwards seemed to really shine last night. We've got players to come back. And I think if Hudson and Skinner are fit, then they're perfectly suited to play in that wide role.
And a final word on the Buxton match, Keith. Full-time team, plenty of funds, but it certainly didn't show on Tuesday night.
Well, I think it was mentally every single player obviously felt hurt. They hadn't performed to their capacity in any shape or form. So it was a bit of a proverbial kick up the backside, I suppose. And making those 4 changes as well, it made everybody... It got the intent was there. You could tell right away from the kickoff that this was going to be a game that, in old-fashioned terminology, resolute, responsible, everybody talking to each other, good communication, movement on and off the ball. But it was just knitted together so well against a team that are highly still regarded. Yeah, there was a second consecutive defeat because they lost to Marine at the weekend. But having said that, it's a good benchmark. And Hereford, I think, have played, 3 of the sort of sides that are expected to do well and get somewhere near the playoff positions at the end of the season. So we are expecting such a tough start. Chorley at the weekend will be yet another one of those. And if you get through that opening period with some points, which I was really worried about after Saturday's performance, it's got to all go well, hasn't it?
There was a full programme of Enterprise National League North fixtures on Tuesday night, starting with South Shields, who scored twice in added time to make it 3 wins from 3 at Alfreton. Macclesfield bounced back from defeat at Oxford City last Saturday to beat Southport 2-1 on Merseyside. Tyrone Marsh's brace helped Bedford Town to a 3-1 win over Telford, their first since returning to the 6th tier. The Eagles were reduced to 9 men in that one when Marsh saw red in added time, but they managed to get over the line. Alex Penny rescued a 1-1 draw for Kidderminster Harriers against Oxford City with his 81st minute strike at Agborough. Marine continued their fine start to the season with a 3-1 win at Merthyr Town. Homeless Scarborough earned a 2-2 draw against early pacesetters Chorley at Victory Park. And 2 goals in the last 6 minutes saw Fylde earn a 3-1 victory at Darlington. Radcliffe, they secured their first win of the season thanks to Ollie Thornley's 90th minute strike. Finished 1-1 between Chester and Curzon Ashton at the Diva Stadium, while Peterborough Sports and Leamington played out a 0-0 draw. And how about this? Spennymoor 0, Kings Lynn 5, with Michael Giassi scoring a hat-trick for the Linnets. That all means that after 3 games, South Shields are top with a 100% record. Kings Lynn and Chorley are just behind them on 7, while Merthyr, Fylde, Macclesfield and Marine occupy the playoff places. Down at the bottom, Alfreton are 24th with 1 point, while Worksop and Peterborough Sports just above them are also winless. Hereford are in 19th with 3 points. It's a bank holiday weekend coming up, and Hereford kicked things off with a home match against Chorley. The Magpies have 2 wins from their opening 3 games, which includes a noteworthy 3-0 victory over last season's playoff finalist Chester, but they were held to a 2-2 draw by Scarborough on Tuesday night, all 4 goals coming in the first half. This is Andy Priest's 4th season in charge of Victory Park, Greg, and you always know his side are going to be in and around the promotion places come the end of the season.
Yeah, they're tried and tested, established at this level, aren't they? They're always a tough nut to crack. We did really well to go up there and get a result last season. Very nearly nicked all 3 with a penalty saved at the death, but they've had another good start. They beat Chester 3-0, although Chester had a man sent off after 10 minutes. They'd probably be disappointed to not win last night, having been 2-1 up, I think, in the first half, and then no more goals in the second period. But, I mean, we've got a reasonably good home record against them. Away until last season, it wasn't so great. So, yeah, they're always tough games. It's going to be about trying to just stay resolute for as long as we can. If we can get in front, the first goal in these games is always massive. If we can get it, we've got something to hold on to. If they get it, they know how to shut the game down.
Yeah, that's how it panned out last season. Yusufu Cisse struck to earn Hereford a 1-0 home win over Chorley. That was in December 2024. 8 goals scored in their first 3 games, Keith. Big goal threat.
Yeah, they always are, but they're very direct, a very physical side. You're difficult to get when you're one-on-one. You've got to win your individual battles to stay in it throughout the 90 minutes with Chorley. Use of the dark arts, whatever you want to call it. It's always a very, very tough game. I wouldn't expect too many goals, but you never know. You'd like to see an expansive game, but I don't think you ever get that against Chorley. It's just going to be an anti-Priest masterclass of hard work, energy, and you've got to match that. If you can match their effort, which obviously Hereford showed last night, then that's half the battle.
Bank Holiday Monday sees Hereford make the trip up to Greater Manchester to face Radcliffe. They lost to Buxton on the opening day of the season and then lost to Spennymoor a week later, but they did get a win last night at home to Worksop Town. These are the games, Greg, that Hereford struggled in last season against the bottom half teams.
Yeah, I went to Radcliffe last season. It was a strange game. We could have dominated it for large periods, but we conceded some silly goals at really important times. I remember we got ourselves back at 1-1 and then gave away a penalty just from a long hump upfield. And the second half we were in total control. and managed to concede a third on the break, and it was too much to fight back from in the end. But Anthony Johnson, Bernard Morley, they'll put together a combative team as always. Both games against Radcliffe were very entertaining last season. 3-3 draw at Edgar Street. We'll be hoping we can try and assert ourselves on these teams a bit more because, yeah, like you say, last season a lot of the teams that we would have hoped to beat at home, in particular, Oxford City, Needham Market, Radcliffe, we really struggled against.
2 games in 3 days, Keith. This feels big to try and get Hereford to build on that win up in Buxton.
Yeah, it's all about momentum. They've got to try and take that Buxton result into the game against Chorley, and then it's almost back-to-back games, isn't it? It's Saturday and then Monday. I remember that Radcliffe game last year. Jason Cowley missed probably the chance of the season, dragged it wide of the post right in front of us because the media position is behind the goal up at Radcliffe, which isn't the best position to commentate from. But then we had a fantastic goal from Andy Williams, who spun in the box and chipped over, not only over the defender but over the goalkeeper, and it just dropped into the back of the net. So it could be an entertaining game. They signed quite a number of very experienced EFL players, got a lot of experience in the Football League, but they've had a poor start as far as they're concerned. They would think themselves to be much more in contention than they are. Building on last season, they managed to survive in the league, and I think their aim is this year is to get into the top half of the table, if not the top 10. So they're all going to be a battle every single game this year. Absolutely no doubt about that. And I talked about it in the first podcast. It'll be such a concentrated season. You could get in the playoffs with having lost 10, 11 games, I think, this season, because it's going to be, I doubt that anybody's going to be cast adrift.
2 big games, and of course both will be live on Radio Hereford FC. We start our build-up as always at 2:45 for Match Day Live in partnership with Nuffield Health. Thank you for listening to the Bullscast. If you enjoyed this episode, we're now available on Spotify. We'll be back next week to review all of the latest action from Hereford FC. Until then, it's bye for now.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.